out some very basic criteria. Your movie, I'm asking that it is at least a minimum of 2 minutes. And the reason that I say that is I feel that if you have a movie that's a little bit less than that, I'm saying a minute or a minute and a half, there's not quite enough room to have any character development that would really contribute to your plot and your horror film becoming interesting or evolving into something that can create a lot of horror and suspense within your audience. So please, when you're writing your screenplay, make sure that you keep that in the back of your mind, that you want to have a film that is going to be at least 2 minutes. In regards to your groups, if you would like to work alone, I am totally okay with that. If you want to work with the same people you worked with last time on your silent film, that's great as well. But please note that there will be no more than 3 people in a group, and each person will have an assigned role. So at least each person will have one. So if you're working alone, you obviously have 3, groups of 2, it's split. But if there's 3, everyone will have a designated role. I feel like in the silent film, I saw a lot of individuals where the work fell all on one. And we need to be better about delegating out roles and experimenting with different kinds of things that we can do in filmmaking. In regards to your soundtrack and sound effects, I really am insisting that you do use them. Horror films would be nothing without those really intense kind of violin screeches or swelling sounds, and soundtracks do add a lot. I am going to say I want you to be conscious about what kind of music you do use. This is not the time to put in Trap Queen into a film. You probably would want to stick to some more dramatic instrumentals. In regards to special effects, when you watch the horror films that the students did in the past years, the kind of special effects I'm talking about are ones that just make the film look a little bit more real or authentic than something they filmed at SAS. And I'll talk about that more in the rubric or when we start going over more films on Friday. For required documents, you guys are going to have to write a screenplay and do a storyboard, and that's all going to be due Wednesday, October 7th. There's not going to be an assigned screenwriter, as I feel like all of the group mates should contribute and write together collaboratively the screenplay, and I think you guys did a really good job with that with your silent film, so we'll continue that. Just to show you the calendar, here we are on the project overview for October 1st. And you guys will have, I said you'll have Friday into next Monday and Tuesday to write your script and storyboard. So that's 3 really good dedicated classes as well as the weekend if you choose to work. In regards to filming, so you guys will have all of next week to film, and also those first 2 days of class during that kind of the 12th and the 13th. But please do note at this point you should probably be wrapping up your filming, because then you will be off from the 14th to probably the 25th. So you have a really, really nice long fall break. When we come back on the 26th, I kind of left this open here because it could be post-production. It could still be kind of getting some kinks out with filming. But on the 28th, you guys should be publishing your films and doing your self-assessments, and we will I'm going to try to premiere them on the 29th or the 30th. And the reason that I'm kind of open on due dates those last 2 days, the reason I want to premiere them on the 29th is that we actually have more of a special schedule on the 30th because we have an assembly. So I want to give us time to be able to watch all of our films. So just kind of keep this in mind, and you can always find that on the Google Calendar. I'm just going to talk to you about some filming options. I'm okay with you guys filming in and outside of school. I will say both have turned out really well. There's pros and cons. If you choose to film in school, you guys have access to all my film equipment, tripods, whatnot, some props. You do have more actors. I can support you here. It is an easier place to film because it's always available. But you have to make sure that you don't interfere with student learning. And sometimes when you do film at the school, we're all so familiar with it, you have to go out of your way to find those really creepy areas, and it's a little bit harder with setting. Outside of school, you have way more unlimited locations to shoot your film, but the story may need a lot more development, which is a good thing, and you do have freedom with actors, timing, filming at night, etc. Some of the cons are you guys are going to have to be really responsible of filming outside of school, arranging your own actors, and also you're going to be, if you are not going to be filming in the classroom, then I am going to require you to be acting in other people's films, helping out, always staying on task. It's not a time to get onto Vine or to YouTube. Here's some really helpful resources. I have that psychology of horror films. If you just click on it here, you can access it. Also, if we'll go over screenplay writing on Friday in class, but that's this presentation here. And also this link, if you click on it, will take you to a playlist of some really excellent student horror films. So here it's about, it's a good, probably like 20 minutes that will keep you entertained. But these, I have to say, really impress me, and I think they'd be some great inspiration. To finish up, I just want to kind of go over what you're going to be graded on in your rubric. You will be graded on your film content, your cinematography, your post-production, and also your self-assessment, just kind of how you talk about your learning process and the whole filming experience for you, because great filmmakers are able to talk about what it was like, the ups and the downs, successes and failures. I'm going to go over what a exceeds would be. I will say that these films that I have featured here were pretty much all around, all exceeded expectations in their own way or form. So if you want to kind of have something back to reference. In regards to film content, horror films are kind of a hard thing to write a story for because we've been exposed to so many. But when you really take the challenge to tell your story in an unconventional way, or so there's a kind of a twist that someone wasn't expecting and it really grabs the attention of the audience, that makes for a good horror film, not just girls walking down the hall haunted by something, it kills her at the end. That would be maybe be approaching. Also, I want you guys to really focus on whoever you choose for your actors. You want them to be natural and believable. You want to make sure your actors convey that sense of horror, fear, suspense through their character portrayal. So this would not be the time to have someone who breaks character a lot or doesn't tend to take it seriously. You want to have those actors that will really step up the film. In regards to cinematography, I really want to see here all of your films in focus, especially since we took some time out of our schedule in order to work on that on Monday. And also, if you want to try experimenting with different shots, even if they don't seem to go well all the time, the fact that you're taking that risk to try out some new shots that you might have seen in horror films or that have inspired you, that would really help kind of bring up your grade and boost you up to exceeds. Post-production, searching for that music and sound effects that can really add the perfect touch to your film is not very easy, and I do recognize that. So when those are well done, that does bump you into exceeds. And really pay attention to your editing. I want you to try to make sure your shots are appropriately timed and your shots, they are paced perfectly with what you want your audience to feel. So we'll get into your self-assessment later on when we start writing those at the end of our project. You also will be graded on for behavior, which is the same: organization, responsibility, and collaboration, which hasn't changed. So I'm going to leave it at that. If you guys want, you can go ahead and click on the annotation and it'll take you straight to the horror films. But I hope you enjoy doing this project as much as I do. After you have a chance to watch the horror films, you guys will have to fill out this Google form. And here, all it is, it's just going to let me know who your group members are and your assigned roles. And it does explain the roles a little bit more in depth, so you guys know what you're signing up for. And then you will have a place here for your movie pitch. So like I said, to get some inspiration, you can watch some of the films, but don't get too caught up to them because your only assignment for today is to fill out this form and just hit submit. I can't wait to see what you guys